Alrighty. TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. And it's a 3-day weekend for us in the States. Now, I will be doing my webinar on Monday morning as usual. But it's a 3-day weekend when it comes to the rest of the United States. And we will march along as usual. Doing our thing, watching the markets, doing whatever needs to be done around the farm, so forth and so on. Anyway, let's see what we got going on this morning. As you can see, can you see? I can see, you can see, we all can see. Let's see, let's move that over a little bit more. There we are. There we go. And as you can see here on J4X, dollars, well, it doesn't show that well yet, but you can see above the, remember we're using a hinky ASCII to try to emulate the dots. So, and they do a pretty good job, like 60, in this case it's like in the 72 percentile. Overall, this whole thing has about a 68 percentile match to our mathematics right here. You know, you can, get a grip on things. You can see the bottoming here, that type of thing. If you put this to the weekly, turn this onto a weekly one, it gives you some good insight to like our weekly charts, so forth and so on. But in the end result is it's only, like I said, 68 to 72 percentile. But you can see here the dollar is moving up a little bit today. Not sure why it went down. We keep on seeing headlines about things like get ready for zero interest rates in Britain and the United States. Asset values, in other words, getting a return on your money is becoming more and more a challenge. We talked about it this week. Greetings, IVB, que pasa? Where you been hiding? Were you laying on a beach somewhere? Haven't seen you in about a month. Long time no see. Yeah, been busy. Good. Glad to hear you're being busy. Idle hands is the devil's workshop with things in life, but still around. Nice to catch your webinar again. Oh, I'm so glad you stopped in. We're always happy to see old friends pop in. And I think we're LinkedIn friends now, too. And so it's always nice. So you probably see my crazy statements coming through there. Well, mostly it's just charts over at LinkedIn, so. But, I don't know if you're a Facebook friend or not. I think so. But, yep. Hope you've been productive and doing your thing. And, it's been these markets, we're looking at 18. Last time I talked to you, I think we were about 15.5 trillion in zero to negative return of assets. Now we're up to 18 billion. It just keeps on climbing. And you won't hear it in the news that unfortunately Doc is it. We are the news. Without us, it's a fantasy land. It's crazy stuff. So you should see what I do to the physics universe. The way I beat them up. If you think I get crazy in here, I really rip into them. But anyway, yes, indeed, the media does hide a lot of information that's going on. That's for sure. So. As you can see here, I was a little surprised that the dollar backed off the way it did with with some of these pairs trades. I really thought it looked very firm. A lot of the action was screaming, at least in my head. And obviously, in my head, there's a lot of screaming going on at all the time. But, it was when we go and look at, say, the euro and so forth, I was really kind of surprised to see even that type of move. It just seemed like they were on fire there for a little while. Let's put the euro up here too. You can see that right there. A little just backing off at the moment. Nothing major. Doesn't look like the euro is going to move out of its weekly sell since we've been up in here. Let's see, what else can we say? You can see we're pushing. Doesn't take much to push it right back into the daily sell, which would be kind of cute in the sense of all that push hard. They try to. And someone was in here, we were talking about trying to get up to the 122s, and I said, I don't know, it's power to the people. Hell yeah. Did you see what, was it the French leader said? Let me see. I just pushed the wrong button. It said the French leaders warned that the social justice ideas imported from the U.S. are undermining their society. Let me just show you that one. That one cracked me up when I saw that. I was like, yeah, welcome to the hood. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Welcome to the neighborhood. Yeah, we got some crazy stuff going on. It'll change. It's what this the strength of America is the fact that it can be changed peacefully, which is pretty impressive. You know, minus those death squads at night in other countries. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is, right there. I'm going to put it up on the board there for you to see it. Oop, grabbed it wrong. There we go, right there. Yeah, look at that. French leaders warn social justice imported from the U.S. are undermining their society. Yeah, so I mean, it's just we're something. And I was really reading something from Davos. You know, they did a Zoom Davos this year, but they were talking about the most important speech in the last 6 years, and it was a Putin speech. And Putin said something like, and the end result is the reset is going to be put back in its hole and sent away. And he actually outlined how ISIS was created by Mr. Obama, and one of his big mistakes as Russian Federation president was to trust American presidents. I don't blame him there. Look at Jojo the monkey we got now. I mean, he is clueless. So not one thing has he signed that helps people get jobs or money or anything else. He signed, I don't know, he used to say that if you sign executive orders, you're a dictator. He's signed more executive orders in the first, week than any president in history combined together. So, when you don't have control of the media, anything can be said. That's what it comes down to. But yes, I was really surprised to see the dollar even give up this much strength. I really was. I mean, I do expect it here in cable. I really do. I mean, I really think that the cable, and we did finally got to the bottom end of the new range that I think is going to develop over time now. And that's that 138 area to 142. And we made our first adventure into it finally. Got up to 138. Was it that day right there? It got as high as 138.66. And I figured that they're going to bounce around in there. And, you can see here they're even trying to push the cable into a daily sell at the moment also, which is kind of surprising. But not that surprising because the markets are that thin, And as long as they're that thin, it doesn't take much. Whoa, 47. Que pasa? How are you this morning? Let's look at Canadian. Yes, Canadian. What did they do? What's it say on the fact check spreadsheet? Looks like, that's right. It's 1 week in a buy, 8 days in a sell. And it's right there. It's trying to lift up today. It's been in a sell since here. Let's take a look at it on J4X. Right there. And you can see a little push again in the other direction. Even got a green going on. We're 2 days in a green here, but at least it's starting to show on the Hinky Ashi, and that's all right. It's an interesting tool there. Let's see what else we got going on. So there's the Canadian, and then let's look at the Canadian here. You can see it was flirting with the daily sell at the moment. Let's do a Control R on that. There we go. And it is on, let's put this up there. You'll be able to see this. Let me grab the right mouse. Right there, you can see plot 1 is 0.00011. And plot 4, this is, excuse me. And plot 6, because we're running a 3-5 super versus a gas line 3. And the 5 super part of it is a gas line 5. Just the plot, it's the plot 4, is it? No, it's the plot 1 of gas line 5, and that's what plot 6 is here on the gas line 3-5 super. Okay, so I'll say that one more time. I'll take you home again. No, basically, what it is, it's the plot 1 of gas line 5, and we call it gas line 3-5 super. And that's because plot 6, see, like when you look at here, gas line 3, it has 5 plots. Okay, and then you see here on a super, it says 3 and 5. And what it is it has the plot 1 of gas line 5. And we make that plot 6 versus the 5 plots in a normal gas line. And then gas has 4 plots. So when you're wondering about a gas 3, not with lines, it has 4 plots. So that's where we are. You can see it's flirting with the weekly. You can see plot 6 is minus 0.000, or as you used to say in school in England, Z, 7Z. Yeah, exactly. And so it's Z. Oh, you see it just changed. It's dropped a little bit more. So it's Z minus Z dot ZZZ73. And so that's the action we're seeing here with the Canadian. And you can see it's trying to lift up, but right there. And you can see a couple green dots and a little weakness. You know, I don't think current, like we've talked, I think I wore everybody out yesterday or the last couple of days about the envelope and the channel. I don't think anything's really going on in the currencies. You just trade the ranges, try to buy the bottom, sell the tops. You know, use our math, or the J4X math, either one. You know, obviously if you see it breaking down here, it's gonna, especially with red included, it's gonna try to break down in value somewhere along the line. Try not to get too brave in your trades. Don't try to make $1 million on every trade, and same thing here, and same thing on the bottom. See what happens here. It gets a little sloppy with the bottoms. It bounced for a couple days. Take your profits. If you don't take profits, you can't make money. And then you can see it rolls over again and it bounces back up. It gets a little bit sloppier in there with that. And let's see, what else can we say? I guess that's about it. We'll see by the end of the day if we get this thing into a weekly sell again, or if it just stands to the side, that type of thing. So as I got it, maybe this weekend, since it's a 3-day weekend, I will remember to oil this chair of mine, because I guess you can hear it in the background like that, me rocking with my shotgun on my waist. No, and so that's the action we see there. And let's see, what do I got here? Nicole says, I am sure. Oh, hey, Nicole. And TGIF to you, Nicole, and Janos, and anybody else out there. And Polina, if you're in visiting, have a nice weekend. Saw that nice picture of you from 4 years ago in Switzerland. Looked nice. Those French fries looked enormous. So there we go. All right, let's jump over to, where do we go from here? Traders, do you have anything particular, or we'll just roll with the homie here? Let's see, what do we got? Let's jump over to Turkish Lira. And there's Turkish Lira. It has slip-slided. Now look at that. You see that little green dot that tried to push it into the buy there, and it's just sliding away. The weekly has no interest whatsoever to change gears, and we're threatening the 7 handle. And that's pretty cool there. Let's see what we got going on. Let's take a look at it on J4X. Where are you? Right there. Yeah, betcha. Yeah, look at that, just gliding down. Look how as the white line staying underneath the dotted line, just refuses to change. You see that the CCI tried to lift, just like right where we got into that little teeny little buy for a day, and then it rolled right over again. And even then, it was a red-green. I threw it up there anyway, just for the fun of it. And so just start the count over again, yeah. I mean, boom. Actually, what is that? We're back into a sell again with Turkish Lira, right? Let me just go check my yes. Oh, okay. So we put the 1 in the wrong spot there, didn't we? Because we started the count over again. So today will be 2 at the end of it if it stays like it is today. There we are. No, not again. See, Doc's got fat fingers sometimes. Sometimes they end up over in this column in G. I look at it a day later and go, how did the 1 end up over in G? So over in F on the sell side right there, it's back in the sell again. Remember, this is the singing trader. CIVBB, I'm still singing. I don't stop singing. I'm just always singing. And so that's the action we're seeing there with Turkish Lira. And then we just looked at the Canada. And so let's go take a look at NASCAD. See what they're doing with that. I think that jumped into a sell. But what was curious is the dollar CAD, or CAD, no, New Zealand Kiwi dollar pairs trade was still in a buy, but I think it's up towards the top. Where is it at? Ends. It's just a few of them in here. N like in New Zealand. Okay, so right there. And there's the Looney. This is the Looney Trade. And where is it at? On line 26 or 23? That's what it's 23. Yeah, so we got 14 weeks in a buy. We got 2 days in a sell. And let's see what it looks like. Let's see. Come on, you can do this. There we are. Let's put it here. And this kind of relates traders, the currency traders out there are saying, they're newbies or just in here wondering, what is he talking about? Yeah, see, we didn't even put a line in here. And it was 3 days here, really. Let's widen that. I think it's 3 days. Yeah. Look at that, 3 days in the sell. But it hasn't really gone anywhere. It did the wrong thing, actually. Went the wrong way. But now it's starting to... It's back in the saddle again. Right there. And so, yep. 2 full days going on a third, and we're back where we started. And it is flirting with its weekly. Let's check that out. See, this is not too bad. It's a... What is the numbers here? It's is it wild too? It is. So it's what are we watching? We're looking at the 5, right? So both are plus. So it's Z.ZZ155 on plot 6 and Z.ZZZ28 on and I think I'm going to start using the word aluminium again. I remember when I used to smoke at the cigar shop in Princeton, I used to refer to my laboratory. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to refer to it any other way. Laboratory, that's it. They want me, but I always think of bathrooms when I hear a laboratory. So I still hang with my English education side. And so it's a laboratory, and it's aluminium, and it's Z, and that's what it's going to stay with me. It just is what it is. I'm too old to change. All right, so you can see here it's fighting not to go into the weekly sell, and you can see the sideways action, and it's an upwardly action too, and we've talked about that. That's the envelope. That's the envelope. That's what's going on. They're trying to keep them in channels and envelopes and so forth and so on. Dukascopy the tenor. Yes, yeah. Figaro. Yes, yes, indeed. I always like singing. We used to have this specialist in back in the old days. It was Music Corporation of America, MCA, before the Japanese bought it, and then what was it? Then City Service before Armour and Hammer bought that. We had this specialist unit, and the guy that ran the unit used to say when he was bored and the crowd was screaming, and you had 150 people standing there, or 85 people screaming and putting bids and offers in. He used to say, "Sing it!" He would scream it out loud. It would be funny as all get out. And I remember one time he grabbed some. Back in those days, we had to wear ties. And I remember one time one of my partners, who actually gave Mayor Wilson the bomb to blow up, was it Wilson Good, to blow up the MOVE movement in West Philadelphia. Anyway, because he was a commandant of the private militia there in Philadelphia, and end result is that he grabbed him by the tie, and he was like bidding 3/16, and the specialist was offering at 1/8, and he said, "I'll pay 3/16 for 3,000," and he said, "I'm at 1/8," and he goes, "I'll pay 3/16 for 1,000," and he grabbed him by the tie, and he said, "Sing it at 1/8." I'll never forget that. Anyway, that was funny. It's a memory in my mind. It's a very entertaining one. He looked at me and he said, "Fix this, will you?" It was like a 3,000 lot, which equals out to, was it 300,000 shares? I guess that's what it is. Let's see, 1 lot equals 100, 10 lot equals 1,000. Yes, so it was a 300,000 share bid, and he kept on trying to pay a steenth, $6.25 more than it was being offered at. He wasn't very good a floor broker. It was more of a political job. But anyway, that's besides the point. But yes, so some of us, we used to sing, sing the bids and offers. I mean, you got 85, 100, 200 people around you trying to bid and offer. The only way you're going to get your voice out there and get your orders filled is, well, one of the ways is obviously is to sing it. Just let it fly. I remember when I got married, one of the women traders said to me, "You've got such a loud, beautiful voice in the trading pit. How come I couldn't hear you say your vows?" I was like, humada, 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 when I was getting married. So anyway, that's besides the point. That's the singing doc. All right. So there it is with the currencies. It's just a sideways chop or a channel that most of them are in. And there's not much more to be said about that. You just have to, try to trade the algorithmic, or, what we call it, the quantitative or the algo basis of it. And, to a great extent, the central banks and the Federal Reserve are not that mysterious. I mean, they do what they do, and they make it pretty clear what they're doing. So, am I entertaining you today, IVBC? You'll come back. You got me thinking about old stories. Every time I see an old friend, I talk old stories. And that's the way Doc rolls around here. So, that's pretty much. I will oil this chair. I don't really think about it too much, but when I'm doing the broadcast, I kind of rock back and forth in it. It's kind of entertaining. There's not a lot of mystique to a lot of this product out there. The currencies and the commodities are a little bit more exotic in the sense that they're ripping through all-time highs, and they've busted their channels, and there's no stopping them. It seems like when we look at them. But this is how we usually move into the energy sector. We look at the NASCAD, and you can see the little weakness in here. We can see the same thing going on with the Canada. Where's the Canada? Let's put the Canada up there again. We'll do it on J4X. On the Canadian pairs trade, the dollar Canadian right there, better known in southern New Jersey as Canada. You can see here it's kind of trapped in a range for, I guess, 3 months, something like that. And that's pretty much the name of the game. Now you can see that on the J4X could make some longs nervous, because you can see here it's starting to lift up. And let's take a look at that. Same thing here on our daily. They're both doing it. They're doing the lift. So the best I think is, you see the top of the range. This thing's flirting with it's in a weekly buy. It's flirted with the weekly sell. We'll see how they treat that. Okay. Oh yeah, I got all these. When you have a, what do you call it, an idyllic memory, it's like yesterday. It's like, no, it's more like about 4 minutes ago. So things that happened to me 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago in trades and so forth, I can see them, I can feel them, I know them, I think I mentioned the box, the giant box I did back in 84, 85, in options. 800,000 British pound box in calls and puts. 800,000 contracts. I think that equates to a couple $1 billion. Back in the 84, 85, that was big stuff. I remember people came running to the exchange, to the currency side of the exchange. They were like, "What happened?" I was like, "I filled an order." And they were like, "Yeah, but you didn't tell anybody." It's like, you think I'm getting $1 a contract, and like someone gives me an $800,000 order? No, 800,000 contract order. You think I'm going to waste my time not filling it? Yeah, but you could have told somebody. Why? That's called front running, right? It's against the law. Oh, yeah, right. It's like, I want to fill in bill. I don't really care about who knows about it. CRT got 233 of them because it was like 800,000 and 220 or something, 23 or 33, something. I think it was 23 or 33. And CRT, back then, that was the company that created the crush spread in soybeans. They were trading currencies at that point, and they got an extra 220 23 done, or 33. I want to say 23. Got it done. And so it was 800,223. And back then, in those days, we were being paid $1 a contract. And when someone offers you to fill an order that's beyond anything in the imagination of the options universe in 1984, $1 a contract, and you're doing, it's over 800,223 dollars in a matter of seconds of a fill. So why would I worry about contacting anybody on the trading floor? I remember Jeff Yaz from Susquehanna. Jeff was like, why do you do that and not let me know? It's like, the law says I'm supposed to execute the order and not go shop it. The customer wanted it filled, I'm filling it. He was like a whole different company, competing with me. It's like, he says, I'll make it your while. I'll pay you money to let me know when you have orders like that. It's like, no, thank you. And today they are one of the biggest proprietaries out there, Susquehanna, and that is the Jeff Yaz. Good old Yaz. All right. Anyway, there it is. They're stuck in a channel, these currencies, and they don't seem to, or an envelope, sometimes an upwardly envelope, sideways envelope, or a downward one, and they don't seem to be able to come out of that envelope. They are trapped inside of it. All right, let's take a look at the energies, unless someone has a question here. With fees you were paid, who took the opposite of that trade? Well, it was some guy in I want to say it came out of the Middle East, because I was talking with him supposedly in his limo or his car in somewhere in Saudi Arabia. It was a hedge, like a bond hedge, because remember, it's a box. So a box back then was a way of playing tax situation. So obviously it must have been British dollars, British pounds, leaning up against American dollars in the United States somewhere along the line. Probably it was an oil trade. And so what he did is he put a box on. So in other words, what you're doing is it's a synthetic bond in the end result. And so what happens back then, you could, until the tax laws changed going into like 88, 89, you could carry that forward. So if you didn't want to pay taxes on it, you just rolled it. And that's probably what it was. It was probably like a tax play at the time. But I remember I had direct lines from everybody back then. Ivan Boesky, Drexel, Shearson, Hutton back then, Payne Weber. What was it? The one with Drexel. I did say it. Drexel, Burnham, Lambert. Let me think. Who else? Had a few other direct lines of small shops, and this one was a call directly to me from Saudi Arabia, and it was, like I said, it was a box. So what it meant is you're buying a call and selling a put, and buying a put and selling a call of two different strikes. So in other words, they were identical. So it was kind of like, imagine you're opening up a shoe box, and you have a lid and the box and then the shoes inside of it. And so, it's not going to go anywhere. It's just holding the assets in a position. And obviously the shoes inside the box are the dividend or the interest or whatever, that type of thing. So that's how that works. It's a box. It's used, like I said, it's a synthetic, sets up a position that you can roll. And back in those days, people would pass profits on to the next year, and if they had any losses, then they would pass it along. They wouldn't pass it along. They would use the gain to offset the loss. But if they didn't have the losses, then they would push it again into the following year. And so you could push profits from 1977 or 76, when it created listed options, all the way up to, I guess it was 1988. Something like that, 87. I think they changed the law in 87. That was part of the crash right there. That was just one of the nails in the coffin of the 87 crash, was that they changed the tax law. Reagan had lost the Senate, and so now and the House had been Democrat for 40 some odd years at that point. So they were angry. They didn't like the idea that Reagan was giving tax breaks, so they started trying to take him back when he lost the Senate in 86. They were sworn in 87, and so they changed the tax laws, and that's what created the pressure on the markets. They, by the summertime, they had changed the tax law, and the crash came in, was it September and October? I mean, the market had the biggest one-day drop the week before or a couple weeks before. Actually, it was the week before the crash of the following Monday. And that had to do with the Secretary of Treasury saying something stupid at the same time. Reagan, not Reagan. So, Don Regan. Anyway, that's history. There we are. We just spilled some history. What do we got here? Hey, middle-aged muss. I wonder who took the opposite of the trade. Oh, that was you that asked that. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Where are we? Oh, we got. I'm missing some of these things. What do you think? Thanks for sharing. Haha. Hope you bought Apple shares at that time. Oh, I'd been in and out. I remember in 80, was it 90, I want to say 90, 95, 96, 97, something like that. I remember paying $7 for Apple. I had a original, still have the original in a box. We used it for a couple years. It has 2 RAM in it. It cost me $3,000 to add 1 RAM to my 1 RAM machine that now had 2 RAM. I doubled the RAM. It was $3,000. It was like $2,800, and I forget the name of the company. It wasn't even made by Apple. And I put in new RAM. So no, we were Apple people right from the beginning. I've had dozens of Apples around here. Let's see, with the fees you were paid, I wonder what took the opposite side. Yeah, so it was a box. So they were just, that trading houses, because they were paying a premium. So imagine if you're selling a bond, and there's more interest than the equal bond to other bonds. It's a synthetic. So what you do is he bought it, they sold it. So now they had that interest. All they had to do is go hedge it. So they go and sell the cash. So they're selling British pounds against it. It's like a carry trade, basically. Everybody's comfortable with carry trade around here, right? Where you're just selling one against the other, and trying to beat the interest rate that for the year or months, whatever. It depends on how long you use the carry trade for. All right, is everybody comfortable with a carry trade around here? So it's like the option premium. So what you're doing is, imagine if you're doing a buy right in some a carry trade is like a buy right in options. So you buy the underlying product, sell the call. You hope that the underlying product doesn't drop more than the premium of the option. Does that make sense? Doc, chill. It's Friday. I'm all excited. I can't wait. Friday, 3-day weekend. Party. All right. Where are we at now? So there's the Canadian moving up. Should be weakness in the oil sector. So let's go visit the oil sector. Let's see what it's doing. There's the NQs. NQs are looking firm, but they're maybe not. I don't know. No, they're not firm. And there is the oil market right there. And you see a little downwardly action. We can see it playing with the sell number. Didn't know it. I hadn't looked at it. So, wrong bar. Oh, it did do that too. Cool. All right. So there's the oil contract, and you can see. Let me save that too for the Robin. And so you can see there that it's bending over a little bit too, curving, because you got the Canadian going up, NASDAQ going down. I guess that's the best way to describe it. That's why we look at those two particular pairs trades. And so then let's go over to and see what natural gas looks like. I thought the thing was going to go into the daily buy there yesterday, But by the end of the day, they pressed it down hard. I was really surprised. When I saw that last night, I was like, what? What? And where's the little red line? I know I put a dotted line in there. I know I did. Where'd the dotted line go? All right, well, we'll put it in there now, like so. Oh, I see. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's still in a sell. That's what it is. We thought it was going to go into a buy. We had a green dotted line up on the top screen, thinking that the March contract was going to go into a buy. You can see how high it was, and then it rolled over. So a little surprise there. They seem to want to reach for it, and I think it's Daniel. I'm not sure who it is in here that comes in and out once in a while. And they're playing the long side, or it was it U47? You're not playing. No. Who was it that's playing with the long natural gas? I want to say it's Daniel. I haven't seen Daniel. He's been in and out only a couple times in the last couple of weeks. Let's see. Let's save that. There we go. And then bean oil looked like it was going into the sell. Let's go over to that right there. And there's the bean oil. And it did. It went into the sell. Let's just give it Control R, because I don't see a line in there. Yeah, okay, yeah. So it went into the sell yesterday. I thought we had a line in there. And so now it's flirting with the buy again. Surprise, surprise. I mean, look at it. It's in a weekly buy, so you can't even take the short. All you're going to do is take a profit from this last winner chicken dinner. Ferris. Is that who it is? It's Ferris. Okay. Yeah. So I was really surprised about the natural gas. I thought, ooh. You know, I thought for sure that was going to be guns blazing. It was going to get going, you know, because it looked like it wanted to take off. But now, you know, I don't know. You know, it's kind of late in the year for natural gas to really fly. You usually don't see it flying like that in this time of the year. All right, let's go over to the metals complex and see what we're doing in the metals complex. Let's take a look at it on J4X. There is gold. Austin Powers gold. All right, and you can see there's the gold. You can see it went into a sell, and there's a little pressure there. I actually sent out the platinum last night even. Let's see. Where's that gold? Right there. Ooh, let's say no and pull this thing off the screen so you don't have to see it. There we are. And say yes. Yes. And so there's a little pressure on that. You can see we're in weekly sells with the gold, and it is Friday. So, you know, I mean, that's no major shakes there. And then let's take a look at Silverado. Me and Robin keep on thinking this thing wants to go somewhere, but it just doesn't do it. They just cannot get this thing to go. It just doesn't want to run. Run. Ferris, run. You see weekly sells again here. And we've been in a sell there, but it hasn't really gone anywhere. You know, I think the little silver vigilantes who tried to influence the market may be still in there on some level, but you got to imagine that the central bank is laughing at that. You know, I mean, honestly, the Federal Reserve is like, sure. And then Robin was saying last night we're going to look at copper probably for the weekend. We'll probably post something in the copper complex. But then you can see here it's been in a sell from here. And it's basically still sitting where it was, but we are in a weekly buy, so you can't get short. So unless this thing goes into a weekly sell, it would be nice to see it get into a daily buy and join in and figure that it's going to go to the next level. You know, I think now that Mr. Biden is involved with the Chinese again. You know, they say he has $70 million in gifts from them. I guess they'll do some type of investigation, right? I mean, if Trump got $70 million, they would have definitely investigated him. But anyway, I would imagine that they're thinking that they're going to build skyscrapers again and then knock them down. I mean, that's what they did during the Obama years. They would build a skyscraper, and then 3 or 4 years let it sit empty, and then they would knock it down and then rebuild it again. That was the way. It's a job program that President Roosevelt kind of had. They used to dig holes, and then they would tell the guys after they dug all the holes to fill the holes back in again. You know, so it was like one of those, you know, job things. So I'm figuring that that's the way that rolls. Now let's go see our Janet Yellen spread. And that is the gold against the platinum. Let's see where that spread is. So we got gold up there. You can see it trading at 1817, basically 1818. And you can see platinum trading at 1236. So 1236. So that would be, that is 18. So that's 6. That's $582. So the spread closed down over $200+ this week. You know, we've been talking about that. We thought we'd be lucky just to see it close down $75 to $100, but hell no. Someone's been listening to Doc. You know, they're you know, we've been pushing this spread since it was 1,000. Now it's down to $582. So we have a winner chicken dinner there, that's for sure. All right. Let's see. Let's save that. And that's the platinum. Now, how did you end up there? You're supposed to be down here. There we are. Plataruni. Platola. And so there are the 4 metals. And so we've done that. Now, oh, there we go. IVB says, Doc, hope to catch your webinars more often. See you all. You be safe. You be smart. Enjoy the weekend. And I'm glad that you popped back into the hood. Welcome back to the hood. All right. Let's see now. Let's go over to the stock indices. We'll take a look at those. And remember, traders, if anybody wants to see anything, just shout it out. We'll go after it. We'll stop what we're doing and check it out. What it is what it is. And there is the NQs. Let's see what they're doing. Did it update? Yeah, I guess it did. And there's the NQs. They're kind of down a little bit. Nothing major. You can see it. It is flirting with a third day now of sell. And you can see it's a super, you know, so it's a 3.5. So what is plot 6 is now down to 3.42. You can see. Very minute. Our math was, I designed this whole mathematical thing to measure atomic particles. So it can get kind of crazy when it gets to its numbers and how minute it's measuring. But that is what it is. Let's see. Let's save that now. And that is the NASDAQ 100. And that Dukascopy refers to that as the Tech 100. They do trade that product right here. Let's show you. Right, chow. Right over, yeah. Hoo-yah. Right there, the Tech 100. That's what that is. So, all right, now let's drift-diddy-doo-dah to the SP 500. Doing the same thing, a little weakness, but hasn't really gone anywhere. You can see here, same situation. At best, we're seeing the green line break the plus top of the manifold. This is the nonlinear manifold, and so it's just flirting with it, but it's not pushing into the sell, whereas NQs, I think, are very much on the edge. Yeah, no, they're not on the edge either. Just, oh yeah, I guess it is. The plot 6 is on the edge. 317 now. Remember, it was 333, now it's 325, now it's 317. It was 342 a few seconds ago. So, you know, they're flirting. You know, it's very close. It wouldn't surprise me if it found a way to at least part of that plot, and then next week the damage comes. Maybe. Who knows? You know, I mean, there's so much money out there fighting to get into, you know, anything when you have $18 trillion worth of negative return invested by the funds and institutions and banks and so forth. So, and then let's take a look at, now this is interesting. This is the Russell 2000, and the Russell has been, you know, a tenacious beast. It's been a very tenacious beast, and you know, it's actually pushing. Yeah, it's still up for the week though. Still up for the week, and you can see it's not messing with any weekly numbers, just the daily. So, you know, this is what we used to refer to as a dead cat bounce, and on the trading floors. In other words, it's going to make a bounce, a change. In this case, it's bouncing down because it's been up so high, but it doesn't necessarily mean it means much unless we get into a weekly sell. And then when we get into that weekly sell, which we've been flirting with when it comes to the NQs, and even the S&P 500 played with part of it at one point this week on Monday and Tuesday. So we need those things to settle down in there. Now you can see here the green line's been underneath the nonlinear time manifold right there. That's the golden line or yellowish. Then the green line is trying to flirt its way down to the 0 line. And so you can see here the daily is in a sell. Not a lot of action. And you can see the plot is at 59.67. That's plot 1, yeah. So, it's not. Oh, wait a minute. Where's the histogram? Oh, okay, yeah. So the white histogram is still much stronger. Yeah, that's the 59.33. And the green line is plot 1. So we're seeing it faster. It's moving faster on the downside here. That's what that is, depending on which plot it is. If it's a plot 6 versus a plot 1, and you see it moving like that, then you know that short term there's some pressure on it. And obviously there is. We're in a daily sell, too, at the same time, confirming that short-term weakness. So that's how we read our numbers. Lots of fun data in our numbers. All right, so that's the stock indices, that's the energies, and we did the metals, right? So now what usually governs, oh, let's do this. Let's go over to the Bitcoin, see how Bitcoin is. And we're going to try to put the new futures in this week and see how that looks. You can see here now, what is it doing? Is that showing a daily sell now yesterday? So I guess it is. So let's grab that little red line, just move it over to here. And so it's feeling the pressure. Went into the sell there, but it's still plus. And it's through the weekly, so you don't really want to short it. These cryptos, there's so much traffic in these things. And you know that they really only have one real game, and that is up, up, and away. They don't really have a desire to sell these cryptos. There's no particular reason. The central banks don't care about them at the moment. Until they start to pay attention to them, they're a very safe place to be. As the Secretary of Treasurer, the former Fed chair, Mrs. Yellen, says they're just not big enough to really pay attention to, but they are interesting. I think that's how she phrased it when she was Fed chair. So, I mean, there's no doubt that it probably has 3 times the volume in it now than it did before. But, it just isn't really... at this point in time, it's not going to influence the central banks. And I'm assuming that the day that they start to become concerned about the product, they'll enact laws against it. I mean, that's no problem for them to just pull them out of their hat and start enacting laws against the cryptos. I mean, they will. And they are the central banks. And they can do what they want. And so right now, crypto traders enjoy the freedom that you have, and until that freedom starts to show, and it'll show, what'll happen is somebody will say something. They'll make a public statement. That's how they always do it. They start off with a public statement, like we're becoming concerned, or the Securities Exchange Commission is interested in looking into, or the Commodities Futures Trading Commission is interested in looking into. They'll start off like that, and that'll be the beginning of the end of the crypto universe. So. Because there's no way in the world these governments are going to allow anybody to diss their asset, the currency. They're not going to let it happen. All this world order thing and kumbaya thing that you think is going on out there, it's all based off of a bunch of greedy socialists that want to control the world. Nothing more than that. And that's all right. It's the way, that's as time goes on, it'll clean itself up. And hopefully we have enough safety nets and so forth that it doesn't hurt the general population. But that's the name of the game at this point. They keep on grabbing. And I read the Putin speech, that speech I was mentioning about, where Putin, they said this morning that it's probably the most important political speech anybody's given in the last 6 years at the World Economic Forum. At Davos, Zoom Davos this year, Zoom Davos. And so, Putin basically told the truth, which he usually does on his own way, I mean, he's a tough guy doing a tough thing, So, we'll see. We'll see how it rolls. Let's see. Trying to harness the Russian Federation is not for, weak individuals, that's for sure. All right, so now, oh, that's interesting. The bond is dipping around a little bit. the way that was moving there. All right, so we've got that all done. What else should we look at? Anybody care about anything particular? Seems like a quiet. It was at first good active half hour, and then it kind of disappeared. I know I'm a little excited about a 3-day weekend, so all right. You know what? Let's do this. Let's take a look at the grains. You know, I mean, these things are being used as a currency, so we watch them every day. Ooh, there we go. And so beanies, they closed in a sell for the last 2 days, but it's gone nowhere. And then you can see it was flirting with the weekly sell, but it stopped. So I'm not really convinced that we're looking at anything particular in the commodities market. That is beans. Let's see what the hogs look like. They seem to be ripping. Look at that. That's the way they closed out last night. I mean, look at the hoggies. I mean, bacon's going to be more expensive. You can see here, weekly buys, daily buys. You know, it's winner, chicken dinner. Or in this case, it would be down the road from us, there's a place called Barbecue 322. They make a pulled pork egg roll that is incredible. Oh my God. Pulled pork, it's enormous. You can barely finish it. It is really, really good. Pulled pork barbecue. And then there is the cattle. Cattle tried to go into a sell this week at one point and just failed at it. And, you know, we've seen the grains showing the weakness. So I guess, you know, the cattle people and the meats people are thinking, oh, cheaper feed. Yay. All right. And then there's corn. And, you know, as much as it's in a sell, it doesn't go anywhere. And we're in a weekly buy for 25 weeks. You can see that on line 2 of our fact check spreadsheet. 25 weeks in a weekly buy. It just does not give up. You can see today it's higher. And it's trying. You know, it's trying to get going again here. But I don't know if there's any real downside to this. I mean, you got to take a profit somewhere along the line when you're up this high. I mean, we're going after the 5.5 handle, and I think let's go back here. Check this out. This is the where's it at? This is the December corn. What's that? Okay, yeah. So there's a contango, what, $1? You know, and that's this thing here. They're not putting it in any sell. They have no interest. It's been in a buy since here. It's been a winner chicken dinner on the back month. They don't have an interest in doing anything but taking it up. It's a dollar contango to its price, but you know, that's just a cost to carry, all for the corn cooker. You know, the granary. So, yeah, there's not much of an interest really to sell this stuff. And then there's the Wheaties. Now, wheat is odd, you know, in the sense that it's, you know, it's a very enormous amount everywhere. Bread and so forth and cakes. You can see this has been in the sell, but it hasn't really done anything. It is also in a weekly sell, so it has been a winner chicken dinner, but it's, you know, it's not exactly making buku dollars. That's Vietnamese for really good. Buku. All right. Let's see. So, let's see. There we go. That's what we have going on there. And then the feeders, they're looking pretty firm. These are the young calves and so forth, if you like your veal. Or you want to grow a crop or a herd, let's put it that way. You can see here it's trying to push up. And, you know, it's, let's see, I guess the red dot volatility signal told us to hold off a little bit, and then it went into the buy there. It's not reflecting live at the moment. So we're not really seeing any, again, you know, and that's why the currencies are in a channel, because there is no real push to change anything at this point. They're all just kind of cruising along, you know, just doing their thing. Now here is the meal. This is part of the crush, the CRT, good old CRT. And you can see it is playing with the weekly sell. Looks like it will go into the weekly seal. So the meal, you know, you would think the meats will go up solely because the grains are going down. And that is what it is. What do you think of this middle? You're able to see a whole complex. And I guess if there's no questions, I just keep on rolling. That's what it usually does. Now, this is red wheat. This is the Kansas City / Minneapolis red wheat, which is the better flour. And you can see here it is still holding on, and it's a gas line 5. So you can see both the plot 1 and plot 4 are plus. So, that's going, doesn't, unless they put some pressure on that product today, it doesn't look like it's going into the sell this week. Maybe next week. Oh, what do we got here? We got 44. Hey, 44, how you doing? Am I a news reporter? I guess I am. I guess I'm a news reporter on some level or another. I'm a newsletter writer. So I guess, isn't a newsletter writer a news reporter? Is there such a thing as a news reporter anymore? Aren't they kind of like institutionalized something or others? I'm not really sure if there's such an animal anymore as a news reporter. But I'm a newsletter writer. So me and my good old First Amendment carry the ball. And so there is the oats. Oats and dotes and little daisies and daisy daisies. Seeing for 5 to 10 minutes, nothing makes sense. Oh, you kidding me? If you try to watch the news nowadays, forget it. Oh my God. Or me. Do I make any sense? Me or or like Bloomberg and CNBC? Because I'll tell you, I can't even watch them anymore. Nobody on Wall Street watches them anymore. They don't. They just leave them up there as a cheap tape. In other words, you can see prices, but so they leave them up on there. Just a winner chicken dinner. Are you talking about me or the like Bloomberg and CNBC? If I don't make any sense, that's because I'm kind of crazy. Kind of crazy here. I'm crazy. Me. Okay, that's all right. That's quite all right. I am a big fan of the First Amendment. So if you think I make no sense, then that is quite all right. And so, that is what it is. Me. Me. No, I'm just a trader and a newsletter writer and an exchange member from old. So there's a lot of things I say that are not going to match Bloomberg or CNBC or Reuters or AP or CNN or MSNBC or CBS, ABC, NBC, PBS. I should focus on trades. That's what we're talking about, trades. What do you think makes a trade? What makes a trade is a buyer and a seller. For every buyer is their seller. So, in other words, you like something, you buy it. Now, who sells it to you might be long, or they may sell it to you short, and they don't like it. So now, if you only were able to buy and not sell, would you see an honest trade, or would it be like a pyramid? Not how Nancy Pelosi got 100 or 200 million. Well, let's go back to trading. You said you wanted to talk about trading. And so when she bought that Tesla stock 3 weeks ago, when the day before Biden signed the new executive order for EVs, it's a trading conversation. Also, I've been sending out the Tesla chart for the last 5 days because of that, just to show that, it was over pumped. And it's been in the sell for like 3 or 4 days now. Here, I'll show you. Let's see, where's that at? Here, I'll show you last night's. But yeah, what do you think makes a market? A buyer and a seller. And if you don't have a buyer and a seller, then you don't have a market. And, the buyer likes something and the seller doesn't like something. Or they're taking a profit and they think that it's over with. So that's what a market is all about. And so that's why I'm a very big, here it is, here. We've been in a daily sell on Tesla. Biden signed, let's see, where did he sign it? He signed it, the executive order over here. Nancy Pelosi bought $1.2 million worth of stock. and then she front-runned it. Oh, come on, 44. Don't run away. Don't be scared. Let's finish the conversation. What do you think makes a trade? A buyer and a seller, right? Do you agree? Just say yes or no. What makes a trade is a buyer and a seller. Is that a yes or a no? Thank you. But remember, traders, what makes a trade is a buyer and a seller. And they're not supposed to be the same person, of course, unless you're doing what they call shorting the box. But so there's the Tesla trade from yesterday. So anyway, all right. What else do we got to say about that? I guess not much more than that. But just remember, traders, it takes a buyer and a seller. One side likes something, and the other side dislikes it. It's more than just basic. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. It's basic. It's a buyer and a seller. So that means one side likes something, and the other side doesn't like something. Okay? And so that's why I'm a big First Amendment person. If I want to talk about the way the government is allowing people to front run a trade, maybe you want to piggyback on it at the same time, right? No? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe it keeps you away from it, knowing that it's overpumped because the politicians have been in there buying it first, and now they're going to liquidate and take their profits. We see that all the time. You can see it in the releases of the statements, from the offices of the congressional people. They have to let it be known. And it's legal for them to do it. So it's not illegal. They're allowed to do it. And so, if politics comes into a trade, it's because it's a warning to be careful. You see what I'm saying? I should tell you, my charts do that every day, 44. Come back Monday, and we'll show you. Our lines tell us, like the green dots here, say to be long. What happened when it went green dot that day? Now, maybe that day you're saying, well, Doc, you didn't make a hell of a lot of money for me. But if you held on to it, sooner or later you're making money. See, winner, winner, chicken dinner. So we do that all day long on the chart here. You know what we can do? Come back Monday, 44, and we'll work on the charts with you. And this way you can understand what you're looking at. Robin does that for the clients all the time. Tries to show them how to read the charts, and here, let's go to corn. Like here, we're in a weekly buy, and when it goes into a daily buy, you can be long. There's your winner, winner, chicken dinner. So we do show you, but the charts are doing it. It's a quantitative system. Okay. Anyway, we've been on like an hour and 5 minutes now or something like that. So happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. And it is a holiday in the United States on Monday, but Doc will be here trading away as usual because it's only an hour show. And I'll get out my frustration of how NBC, ABC, CBS, Bloomberg, CNBC, and CNN and MSNBC don't give you enough information to make money.